Have you ever had a taco made out of fried cheese? Have you ever had a breakfast taco made out of fried cheese? Well, that's what we're doing here today. I hope y'all are having a good morning. My name's Zach with American Smoke, and today we're gonna make tacos and we're gonna do it up right. Y'all come on, I'll show you how I like to do it. First thing I wanna do is I wanna make sure that the temperature on my griddle is about right, about where you want it. It's close to the 350 degree mark. Got some wind blowing. I've got my temperature turned up a little bit more on this eye here because the wind is coming from that direction. So if you have trouble knowing, I don't know if my temperature's right, just get you one of these. This is from ThermoWorks. It's their IR Gun S. It's one of the more basic models, but it does exactly what I want it to do. It's telling me that I'm about 325 there, and you get here a little further away from the wind, and I am at the 352 degree mark. So everything's gonna work out good. Step one, there is an order in operations here. Step one for me, the way I like to do it, is I like to get my bacon on the griddle. And we're gonna put the bacon down here on the hot end, lay it all out. We're gonna be making about 4 of these tacos today, and so I'm gonna need about 8 pieces of bacon. If you don't like bacon, if you prefer sausage, cook you some sausage. There ain't nothing to it but to do it. I expect this bacon's gonna take about 6 to 8 minutes to cook. I'm using some Smithfield thick cut bacon. And unless I'm wrapping stuff in bacon or something like that, thick cut's always the way to go for me. All right, so we got our bacon on. The next phase in the plan is to fry the cheese. And so what you want to do is you want to have some sort of a cooking spray. I'm just going to use some spray olive oil, or you can put down just regular oil. It doesn't necessarily have to be spray. And if your Blackstone is seasoned up really well, you don't really have to spray. I had a bit of a snafu where I did not clean my Blackstone after I got done cooking, and then I forgot about it. And so the next time I came out here and opened it, it was not a pretty sight. I've cleaned it up and I've re-seasoned it and everything, but there are some spots that are a little more non-stick than others. And so that's the reason I'm putting this spray down, just to make sure that my cheese fries off, peels off, and I can make me a tortilla out of cheese. So what you want to do is you want to make it about the size of a tortilla. It doesn't have to be super thick, but it does need to be enough that when it melts together, it forms a little circle. And don't worry if you make it to where it's not perfect circle, you can come in later and shape it up with your spatula. All right, so what I want to do next is I'm just going to come in here, and you don't have to do this, but I am not a wasteful cook. I paid for this cheese, I want all of it. So what you can do is you can just sort of scrape it back up, and it's also just something to do. Just something to do while you're waiting on this stuff to cook. Get all that cheese back up around the edges there. Comment down below, let me know, have you done this? Do you have any secret techniques that you like to use, that you've picked up on over the years, that, you know, those techniques that only experience can teach you, that nobody can really teach you? So let me know if you've got a couple of those. Maybe it's something I haven't learned, and maybe it's something that'll make my food better and my cooking easier, which is what we're all about here at American Smoke. By the way, speaking of easy, smash that like button for me. It's super easy. It helps my channel out a ton. And become a subscriber to my channel. If you're not a subscriber yet, I put out content every week. Every Monday I put out a video, and you know, if there's a little extra time in my schedule, I put out an extra video of something during the week or the weekend. Always something to watch, always something to do. Next thing we're going to do here is we're going to get out our parchment paper and the plate, because our cheese is approaching doneness. And we're going to be putting the parchment paper down on the plate and getting ready for the cheese if the wind will allow. We're having a little bit of a wind issue here today down at the river. I don't know, do y'all have wind where you live? I have wind. It's going to wait till I leave. I knew it, I knew it. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Make sure if you do this, you don't put your your pressurized can of oil too close to the edge, because it does get really hot right there. You can see that this is starting to crisp up. And what you're looking for, and you need to make sure you've got a pretty thin spatula, which what you're looking for is to be able to get it under there without wadding it up too much. What you're going to get to the point where you can get it under there and you can spin it. Now, I don't want to take full credit for this. I learned a lot about how to cook this from Matt Pittman over at Meat Church. If y'all haven't checked out his channel, great channel, huge channel, a channel that I aspire to be like. but they're not quite there yet. You just have to be patient with it. If you get in a hurry and worry, but you're gonna burn your cheese, you're gonna mess them up like I'm doing right there. Trust me, you're not gonna ruin your cheese. What you're creating is a crust on the backside, and that's what it's all about, is that crust. Our two in the middle here are ready to come up, I do believe. They got the look that I'm looking for. The wind can tell that I'm about to take them up. You can see it's just sliding now, and we're just gonna get that under there, transfer it over to the paper to cool, and you don't have to worry about how long they cool or anything like that. And you might also get to where you have a preferred level of doneness. You can make them more crispy or less crispy, as long as you can get them up. That's the main importance factor there. And they're pretty pliable even after they've gotten cold. So I always do these first, get them ready, and then my bacon comes along, and here in a minute we're going to be putting our sweet potatoes onto the Blackstone. I have made grated sweet potatoes for my hash browns that's going to be going into these tacos. And let me tell y'all something. Potatoes are good in there, but sweet potato, next level, because you get all this salty and fatty and savory and all these other ingredients, and you got that little bit of sweet mixed in there with it. Man, it's so good. I can't wait to eat it. This is our breakfast today, and I am behind on breakfast. I'm very hungry. So we're gonna go ahead and get these last couple pieces of cheese off, get our bacon flipped here in just a minute, and then we'll be putting our hash browns on. Woo, that's gonna be so good. All right, so let's go ahead and flip our bacon. And what I'm gonna do with this bacon is I'm moving it down here to cook for the remainder of its time that's gonna be with us. And the reason I'm doing that is because we're gonna cook our sweet potato hash browns in that bacon grease, baby. What you talking about? Adjust my heat down a little bit. I had to turn my heat up just a little bit. Get that bacon grease out there. And so these are just finely shredded sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are a lot more dry than a regular potato is, so that you don't have to necessarily squeeze them out like you would a normal potato to kind of get rid of some of the moisture, which if you don't do that, it really inhibits your ability to get a crunch factor on it. And the sweet is the main star of the show here as far as the potatoes are concerned. But man, if I can get some crunch factor in there, don't worry, I'm getting my crunch factor. So what you want to do is you just want to spread these out real good, nice and thin, that way they cook quick. Cooking in some bacon grease, baby. And so what I will do is around about the time that these get ready to flip, I'm gonna be taking this bacon up and I'm gonna flip them over into that bacon grease. Y'all can add olive oil or, or whatever you wanna cook with to get a little frying going onto your hash browns if you like. That's how I like to do it. Bacon grease tastes good on food. I know that, the cardiologists out there are like, oh my God, which they should be. They really should be. Because it's not good for you, but it tastes so good, and it's breakfast, and it's Sunday, so there's that. Always got to have you a nice cup of coffee. Look at that cheese, just one more time. Let's have a look at it after it's cooled a little bit. And so about the time I pull the bacon and starting to let it sit on a paper towel and dry up a little bit, I'm going to be flipping over my sweet potato hash browns, and then it's just going to be a quick scramble on those eggs, and then we'll be ready to cook. You can see now that these have cooled down a good bit, that they are pliable. This one might be a little more crunchy here, but look at that. Look at that bottom side. That is just beauty. You know how you get like a cheeseburger or something like that, and you get that little bitty tiny bit of crunchy cheese on the bottom? You're like, oh man, that tastes good. That's what this is. It's that little tiny piece, except we've made a really big tiny piece. That doesn't make sense, but that's what we've done. But those are ready. I gotta get my bacon plate ready over here. Gotta get this bacon, this cheese grease. You may not know that's a thing until you've fried some cheese, but we got cheese grease. Once again, flammable compressed gas needs to be a decent amount away from the heat. If you're new to cooking on your Blackstone, what you need to realize is that when you throw food on there, it just automatically reduce the heat of your griddle top. So don't think that you don't need to keep an eye on it and adjust your burners from time to time, because it is very important that you do that when needed. I've had to make several adjustments during this cook to make sure everything is going swimmingly, and I'm glad that I did. There's our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bacon, getting ready to be part of a breakfast taco. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip our hash browns over into that bacon grease. I'm not worried at all about trying to keep them together or anything like that, because they're all get broke up and smashed onto that taco. So you don't have to worry about anything like that, about trying to have pretty hash browns. What you want is cooked, done hash browns, and you want crunchy, tasty hash browns. What we're seasoning with today, really the only seasoning that's coming into play, is gonna be some Lane's Signature Rub. But I'm using Lane's Signature on my eggs, and I'm gonna put a little dusting onto my sweet potatoes just because it's got a nice salty flavor and a lot of like chili powder and stuff like that that goes really good on breakfast food. I highly recommend it. I'll leave a link to this down below. Y'all can check that out. Also, I meant to mention earlier, if you saw me use this to check the temp on my griddle and you thought, man, I would like to get one of those, I will leave a affiliate link down below. I think this is a indispensable tool when you're cooking. I have found myself using it on my blacktop, in the kitchen, when I'm frying stuff, on my grill, when I'm gonna put a good sear on something. And also, I was using it the other day to check out what was the temperature of the air that was coming out of my air conditioning vents, which was interesting. We're gonna go ahead now, and we're gonna put our eggs on. What I did was I got 6 eggs, and I mixed up maybe about 1/3 of a cup of milk into the eggs to make them a little more runny, because they're gonna run, and you just rake them back. This is, like I said, this is a very quick part of the process because of the amount of surface area you've got on your Blackstone and the temp that you cook with, and the fact that the eggs spread out so thin. What I usually do is I'm gonna let it sort of do that, and then I'm gonna come in and give it a little chop. Rap, tap, chappy, chop, chop, choppy. Chop, chop, chop-a-roo. Almost no time. So get our lanes out, get that on there. Get a couple more flip flap flappies on the chop chop choppies. Remember, the flip flap flappy and the chop chop choppy. So those are done. Those eggs are done. We're gonna throw those into this bowl. And that takes a lot. I mean, a lot of times when you're cooking on a Blackstone, it sort of will get stressful because you've got so many things that you're trying to get done all at once. And cooking this lets you sort of just bowl it up and serve it up almost like a buffet style, because you got to fix, it's a taco, you know, you got to fix the taco. And we're just going to put that on our tray, bring our other bowl over here. We're going to go ahead and pull these hash browns, looking mighty fine. We're going to have the sweet, they're going to be soft in the middle, going to have that crispy on the outside, busting with flavor. We're going to put these things together and we're going to eat them. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I wish I wasn't making a video because that's gonna prolong the process of me getting these in my belly, but we're gonna try to do it ASAP, and we'll see y'all here in just a minute. We'll get everything organized and put these things together. Man, if y'all haven't done this fried cheese, you gotta give it a try. Let's go ahead and make a taco and eat some breakfast. So, like I said, these have been sitting out now for about maybe 10 minutes, and you can see nothing to worry about. Remember, it's cheese, so it's pliable. All I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drop that down into my taco rack. This is my Blackstone taco rack. If y'all are looking for one, I'll leave a link to this down below. It's great and it looks good. There's some cheaper ones on Amazon, I think, that are just made of stainless, but this one's got some nice handles. It looks good, and it looks good. Order of operations for Zach. For starters, we're gonna go sweet potato. Line the bottom with sweet potato. Or potato, you know, if you're like, I used to hate sweet potatoes. I don't know why I used to hate them, but I grew up hating sweet potatoes. And as an adult, I've gotten to where I really like them. But just want to get a nice little layer of that in there. Don't worry, you're not going to put too much. After that, we're going to go in with the bacon. You can put as much bacon as you want. I am a 2-strip bacon guy. Get that down in there. Next, we're going up with a heavy dose. I say heavy, but healthy dose of eggs. After the eggs, we're going in with a little bit of salsa. This is not homemade salsa. This is right out of the jar. Got a great taste to it. I think it may have been. It's not paste. Somebody's gonna say it's paste. It's Tostitos. After that, we're gonna garnish this with a little bit of green onion to add a little bit of extra pop to it and a little bit of extra flavor. Tell me that don't look good. So yeah, Zach, it looks good, but does it taste good? Don't worry. I'm gonna let you know. Ooh, that looks so good. Cheese is extra crunchy. Bacon down. Don't worry, I'll save you. That looks good. It's almost too pretty to eat, but I'm gonna eat it. That's what it's all about right there. Man, that Lane signature rub, even with all this going on, really comes through in those eggs. That little piece of fried cheese that you get sometimes on the side of a plate, that's what that tastes like. It's so good. It's got that salty, cheesy flavor to it. The sweet potato sings through with that sweet saltiness in the bacon. I'm gonna have to get another one. Y'all let me know if you try this. Make sure to smash that like button for me. If you're not a subscriber yet, come on, let's subscribe. Let's play the subscribe game. Who can hit subscribe the fastest? If you try this, let me know what you thought. If you have any questions, let me know down below. Always making content, trying to put a video out every Monday now. Sweet potatoes, man. So good. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.